Okay, welcome everybody. We just wrapped up Super Bowl 59. It's in the books. The season is officially over. Chiefs, Eagles. And we know who won. Okay, sorry about that. We are live here on YouTube. With a little bit of tape delay there. That's all right, but we're going to get the show rolling. It's all happening right here. The season is over. I'm going to take you through my Super Bowl Sunday. I'm curious how everybody else experienced the Super Bowl as well, because I have a couple of thoughts on things today. A couple of thoughts on Tubi, a couple of thoughts on the internet versus the live feed, thoughts on Tom Brady, a couple of predictions I made that did not really come true as all. Funny thing enough is the last thing I really have anything to talk about is the actual game itself, which I don't know in recent memory if we've had another boring game, boring Super Bowl, because this was it. This was the boring game that we were not expecting, or were we expecting it? Because that was rough. We're going to talk about it all. Omar Carmona is here. He's going to join me at some point when he hits the link to join in. I'm curious how he watched this game as well, because we didn't really talk a lot during the game besides a little text here and there. So live on YouTube, this is the season finale of the Sunday Night Talk. So if you have not subscribed already to my channel, please do so. Click the link. I got all my YouTube shorts up there. All my stand-up comedy is up there. This show is up there, the Sunday Night Talk, not to mention my full-fledged interview series is up there as well. There's like over 60 of them up there. Stand-up shorts are going up there, and videos are going to go up there in the future as well. So I'm dressed up for the Super Bowl. As you can see, I take it very seriously, the game. And it's almost like a cap to my winter. It feels like it takes me through the whole fall-winter season. And though my team, the Las Vegas Raiders, really did not have a good season, it's still something that I look forward to, that I cherish, is the Super Bowl, the entire day in general. So I'm going to take you through my Sunday. Omar's going to be here with me, but let's get the show rolling, everybody, because this is the Sunday Night Talk, and this is the season finale. Let's go. Well, welcome everyone. It's the end of the season. It's me, Patrick Ramirez. I've been speaking with you every Sunday night through this whole NFL season. Chiefs, Eagles was our Super Bowl this year, 59, which I have to say I've officially given up on Roman numerals. Somewhere after it got past 35 or 36, I couldn't really figure out what the L's meant and the X's and the I's in front of the X's, and just very confusing, and I might vote to go back to the numbers at some point, but this was 59, and to my recent memory, this was a boring Super Bowl. I guess it should not be that surprising, because we have these Super Bowls from time to time. Go back in history. That Rams-Patriots game was boring. That Tampa Bay Chiefs game was boring. This was not that surprising. So let's bring in Omar. We've got Super Bowl to talk with. Here we go. All right, Omar is here. He joins me. I'm bringing him in on the Zoom. There he is. There's Omar. How you doing, man? Happy Super Bowl. Yes. I don't know if you read the text, but we are rolling.
I am so sorry, everyone. I am late, but there was some traffic. I didn't have any plans to go to a party today. I wanted to watch the game alone at home with the kids. We got just a very informal invite from parents of the kids, so we thought, well, why not get together and order a few pizzas? But not a very fun Super Bowl.
I was just saying, maybe we were due the boring Super Bowl, but God, the Super Bowl was over quick. I think we talked ourselves into a potential comeback in the second half, but that never came to be. I was talking boring Super Bowls. I didn't want to text you these things because I feel like I was going to jinx it. But remember Rams Patriots, how boring that Super Bowl was? It
That
was
was
like
it was low scoring all around.
it was like
Yes.
3-0 in the fourth quarter. And then we had that Bucks Chiefs Super Bowl a few years ago, which was really boring, was totally one sided. And I was trying to think of one before that. And actually, the first Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl actually was not that great either. Somehow it was a close game. And then we have this Super Bowl today. So I want to ask you some questions, but let's go through our Sundays in general as we go through this. But I mean, after this game, what were you more surprised with? The lack of Chiefs offense, the poor Mahomes play, the exceptional Eagles defense? What do you think even stood
great.
out?
When you want to say what the most surprising was, to me, the most surprising is how dominant the Eagles defense was against a Patrick Mahomes-led two-time defending champion Chiefs offense. It just seemed like they controlled the line of scrimmage. They controlled, the secondaries there, ball hawking. Cooper DeJean with that pick six on his birthday. And then just the pass rush. It just seemed like Mahomes had no time to throw. And they were also coverage sacks. I mean, there were some sacks that it did seem like he had a few seconds and there was just nothing open for him.
We've never seen a Mahomes like this.
Is it fair to say that we may have witnessed the worst game of Patrick Mahomes' career? And again, a Hall of Fame career, a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's the only one that right now it's going to be in the breath of Tom Brady. And that was
It was the worst game since he lost to the Bucks in that Super Bowl.
And he played a much better game that game.
And they actually scored 9 points in that game.
Right.
And this game was 2 garbage time TDs. And it was really his 2 interceptions that swung this game the other way hard.
The only one that looked promising was Xavier Worthy with those 2 touchdown grabs, and he goes for over almost 150 yards receiving.
Yeah,
there was just and then it just seemed like the defense. There was one stat at some point that they compared the two teams, and it was Kansas City Chiefs 10 plays from scrimmage, Philadelphia Eagles 10 first downs. It's just you can't possibly win the game like that.
It was unbelievable how lacking the Chiefs offense was. Like, it was funny because you and I both were on the Chiefs side at the end of the conference championship week, and then somehow both during this week, both you and I flipped to the Eagles.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was. Maybe we just sat and looked out on paper and be like, man, the Eagles have a lot of talent. They've got a lot of weapons. And we were just banking on the Chiefs' mystique, the Chiefs' aura. They'd be like, all right, if the Chiefs are going to go down, fine, I'll bet them, but I'll be right 8 times out of 10 with the Chiefs. But, I mean, honestly, this was the game we were waiting for all year because this is how the Chiefs kind of looked all year. The Chiefs were exposed finally. Don't you think? Like, how many times did we say, like, yeah, they won, but they didn't look good. Yeah, they won, but they didn't look good. And finally, it's weird, they saved the biggest game of the year to play their worst. Do you think any version of the Chiefs could have beat this Eagles team?
No.
You don't? Yeah, you think they lose this game 9 times out of 10?
Probably. I just don't think that it was just very obvious. It was also another thing that was very glaring is how afraid it appeared to me that Kansas City, how afraid they were to run the football. It seems like they didn't even try to establish the run. It seems like they just abandoned it from the very beginning. And there must have been something in the scouting saying, if we run it, these guys are just going to stop us at the line. And I think that, without being able to run the football, control the clock, control the line of scrimmage, ultimately that's going to do you in.
Yeah, they gave up on the run pretty early. And Brady, who I don't think he called a great game today, did say early.
That needs to be a conversation by itself, Pat, because
we can have it.
It not seem that Tom Brady was a little more giddy as the game was going on. It just seemed like, one, He's wearing a $740,000 watch.
Oh my God,
Okay?
that watch was insane. I'm so glad we all have HD TVs now.
I had to look it up. Okay. It
Hmm.
is a $740,000 watch he was wearing. Okay.
Wow, I've never known you to do research on this show. And
Three
you looked
quarters
up the watch.
of $1 million sitting on his wrist. And it just seemed like he was enjoying calling this game because ultimately this was the one thing the three-peat Tom Brady wasn't able to ever accomplish.
Hmm.
Okay? And it just seemed like he was just a little too ecstatic that it wasn't being done
Yeah.
today. And I think for now, um, his legacy as the GOAT remains intact. He is still GOAT.
Yeah, let me think where I want to start here. Where I would want to start is just thinking Tom Brady. God, I really wish Romo had called this game because there was a point in the game where it was getting away from the Chiefs and they were passing and it really wasn't working. And I was thinking, I'd really like to know why this isn't working. They didn't say that the Eagles hadn't even blitzed all game long until the fourth quarter. And then we had the whole. When are we going to start comparing this to the 28-3 comeback? Patriots Falcons. Was that ever brought up? And I kind of blame Kevin Burkhardt for this. Be like, Kevin, set your boy up here. What are you saying in the locker room, Tom Brady, when you're down 28? Was that ever brought up?
It was, and I found that I thought I was waiting for that question too.
I didn't get it at all. I thought the broadcast was bad. It was boring. And it begs the question, is it harder to call a close game or is it harder to call a blowout? And I think we found out today it's harder to call a blowout because
no doubt.
A good game kind of presents itself to you. A blowout, you've really got to reach and you got to reach into your skill to keep a broadcast going, keep it interesting. It was a rough game from Brady, but it's his first year. I defended him all year, but this was not his best game. Let's start with the game itself, though, and I'm talking like the broadcast. Because we got what seemed like an 8-minute intro from Tom Cruise at the beginning of this game. What was that about?
I'll be honest with you, I skipped that when I saw that one coming.
They set it up all morning long. At first I thought, oh, he's going to be in the studio. He's going to say something. And they set it up. I was like, well, okay, I got to see this. It was just some pre-produced green screen, him injecting the word mission and impossible into every third sentence. And by like the third minute, I was like, he hasn't really said anything. Oh man, Tom Cruise, what was that about? We needed a rewrite on that one. And I thought, well, maybe he'll skydive in, but no, we didn't get it at all. I'm still going to see Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, but oh my God, that was weird. And in the beginning of the game was like this tribute, which is good. Like the tribute to the victims of the LA fire, the tribute to the hurricane, tribute to this, tribute to that. And I was like, I'm not ready to watch football. I'm sad now. I'm really bummed out. And then they play the national anthem, which is always great. Always this form of like patriotism and unity. I'm never ready to play football after that either, because then I'm like, all like, we're all brothers. I can't take anybody's head off now. I struggled emotionally at the beginning of this game. How did you handle it? You said you kind of bailed on Tom Cruise.
I bailed on Tom Cruise. I went to go get the pizza from Peter Piper.
Oh, is that right? Peter Piper.
Peter Piper.
Classic.
The kids wanted Peter. We had an interesting menu. We had Peter Piper pizza and we had crab legs.
Oh, where the crab legs come from? Or does Peter Piper carry crab legs now?
The crab legs came from Costco, Pat.
Oh, is that right? So did you seriously attempt to make a Costco run on a Sunday?
No, but so it wasn't. I don't want to call it a. There wasn't a Super Bowl party, but one of my daughter's, her best friend, her mom was out of town, and so the dad called me. He's like, "I got kids." I said, "I got kids. You want to try to enjoy the game by just getting the kids together, letting them play, and we could just watch the game and eat." That's exactly what we did. So it wasn't a Super Bowl party, but it was definitely a get together, and he had some crab legs, so it was crab legs and pizza. It was a nice
Mm.
little combo.
Yeah, for people who don't know what Peter Piper is, if you're on the West Coast, it's the kind of the Shakey's Pizza of El Paso, where you live, where we grew up, where it's really lowball pizza. It's not buffet style, but it's pretty close to it. But God damn it, you're not going to find me turning it down. That's for sure.
No,
But
there is nothing like warm Peter Piper.
right, it was something you went to as a kid, and it just if you had it as a kid, it just carries on with you as an adult. So you got the Peter Piper pizza, you got crab legs going, and it's just you and another dad enjoying the game. Is that the setup?
Yeah, it was just, and then one of the grandfathers of I was on the maternal grandfather was there, so he a real nice man, and it was just a really good time. But honestly, Patrick, I think I am done with the Super Bowl party.
Oh, what do you mean? You don't like the Super Bowl party, huh?
Patrick, a few houses down from where I was at, these people were having a party. Okay.
Mm.
And it was loud. Getting out was a nightmare. And I was just thinking to myself, who would want all these people at your house, you know? Um,
Yeah,
and
Super Bowl party is definitely a commitment.
I will also say I was very disappointed with the commercials this year.
Yeah, we should talk about too because we were like a quarter and a half in. I watched the game, the first half, at my brother's house. So I'm here with my brother, my sister-in-law, his two kids. My other brother is there. And about halfway through the second quarter, I'm like, have we seen a funny commercial yet? Are all these commercials going to bum me out? Like, I knew the Jesus one was coming. Then there was one where, like, the guy's giving the pep talk to, like, handicapped kids and black people and brown people. And I'm like, I am bummed out. What happened to comedy commercials? What, was there any funny commercials?
I
Nothing,
didn't see any. And
nothing I really got a kick out of.
apparently Jesus took out a lot of ad space this year.
Wow. Well, they pass around that basket in church you have to put money in. I always wonder where that money went to. Turns out it's a Super Bowl commercial. Commercials were interesting. Did you know this fact? Because Trump goes to the game. Did you know Donald Trump is the only standing president to ever attend a Super Bowl? I couldn't believe that stat. I was like, really? The first one? I guess we've had some formers go to the game and that's it. Did not know that.
I'm glad you brought that one. Did they have him? Did they show him on the broadcast telecast?
Yeah, I just saw him once, and then I saw some Instagram pictures later. Where I was like, oh yeah, he's there. And then, interesting enough, I think I saw Taylor Swift twice, and that was it. Which I'm finally glad the Taylor Swift bubble has bursted. But I could have used some more Taylor Swift footage of like I finally get to see how she reacts to a loss, and we didn't really get to see. And again, she didn't wear it in team colors, so I'm glad. I'm glad they lost. Like how do you show up the VIP box, no team colors? Unbelievable.
It kind of seemed like with Travis Kelce having a miserable time. They didn't really show much Taylor.
Yeah, that was it too. And I saw an Instagram video where they put her up on the big screen at the Superdome and everybody booed her. and she kind of had this like reaction like, oh shit. I liked it. I was like, good. Okay, you can't win them all. How many weeks ago did I predict that we're going to have a Taylor Swift scandal this year? She's going to be like embezzling or some insider trading, or her pal Blake Lively seems to be a horrendous person. She's going to catch some shrapnel.
Apparently there's some bad blood brewing there, but I don't think we should talk about that right now during our show.
Right. Well, that was my prediction, so we got to keep tabs on that. All right, so the game finally starts, and let's see. This game was competitive till about, I would say, 14-0. But that very first drive where the Eagles get the offensive pass interference, how many people in your room went, oh, the refs are in. It's fixed. It's rigged. Back to last week with the referee's call. What'd you think of that first offensive PI?
I I thought I know where the people were coming with that.
So you kind of, did you go on the fixes in side? Are you fixes in guy?
Am I what?
Are you the fixes in? The NFL is a rig
Yes.
guy?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
definitely on
you
that.
are.
I'm a definitely the fix is in.
Oh, well, I mean, this kind of threw a monkey wrench in that for all the fixes in people this year. Eagles go up 7-0. Then the Chiefs proceed to go almost 3-and-out on their very first drives. I think they got one first down on one of them. But right away, it's like, what's going on with these Chiefs? And then Mahomes throws the pick six, which was huge because it really flipped it. And then I think we didn't see Taylor Swift till 1:45 left in the second quarter. So odd start to the game. It was almost like I was like, I'm not sure if I know what I'm seeing. What was your early reactions to the Chief being so inept on offense?
I think it just caught up to them, Pat, to be honest. It just caught up to them. Them not being able to really run the ball effectively this year. They really didn't have a primary back, or in my opinion, what you would call a primary back. So I believe Isaiah Pacheco's talented, yes. I believe Kareem Hunt back, he's been around a while now, and I know he had some time off, but they're talented guys. But would you call them a bell cow back, a dependable bell cow? And I think the answer is no.
No, it's almost like all of us that kind of talk shit on the Chiefs all year long, this was the game to go, see?
Exactly. It's either not that good.
Right. Which they're in the
show.
It's
weird. Play a game February 9th in the NFL for us to finally say, I told you they're not that good.
Right. This is the Stephen A. Smith recipe. Even if the team you've talked trash on all year long loses a Super Bowl, you can always go, see, told you. But they were exposed. They couldn't run the ball. They were behind the chains. Pretty much from that second pick on, they had to throw the ball. And Mahomes kept doing this like scramble into the middle of the field, and there was just no room there. He got sacked every time he tried that 3 times in a row in the first half. He got sacked, and where it really flipped for me was the Chiefs finally stopped the Eagles on D. They get the ball. There was a minute something left in the second quarter. They had 2 timeouts. And on the very first play, Mahomes throws a pick.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, well, hold on. It could have been 14-7 going into halftime. Now it's going to be 21-0. And it ended up being 24-0. At any point in the first half, did you think, okay, wait, the Chiefs are going to figure this out?
You know why? I'm going to be honest with you, and I know people are saying, it's people are going to say it's easier for you to say this, but it just looked like I was seeing nothing that was going to indicate to me that the Eagles were going to let off, take their foot off their throats with the way they were rushing Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, they looked so much better than the Chiefs. It took me into the third quarter to lose faith in the Chiefs because for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is how the Chiefs have played all year. And number two, the Chiefs have trailed at halftime in every single Super Bowl they've played. And I just thought, like, Mahomes is going to figure this out. Come on, this is Mahomes. They're going to figure out a drive. They're going to get a stop. They never did.
They never
did. There was one point where they're starting to get a drive going, and Hopkins drops a wide open crossing route. And at that point, it was another one where you're like, dude, they can't do anything today. Like all the breaks, all the tip passes, all the penalties that went their way all season long. Not today. This was not happening today. It was very strange. But in the back of my head, I kept thinking, wait, I've seen this before from a dynasty team. I am not forgetting 28-3 Patriots Falcons. I'm not willing to give up yet. But 10 minutes later, I did give up. And this is the part where I was like, I wanted to hear Romo. I want to hear what Romo had to say about this at this point. Why weren't those passes working? Why were the Eagles figuring them out? Why is Jalen Hurts looking like the Mahomes version of Jalen Hurts? And then, like you said, you went to go get pizza during Tom Cruise. I switched venues at halftime. I had no interest in Kendrick Lamar. I actually listened to it on the radio, but I don't know any of those songs. What was halftime like for you?
Um, no, I just watched the song. And again, so I was with my law school, we're talking to my law school friends on our thread, and I was the first one to write, I think this is the worst Super Bowl performance ever. Again, I do not want to knock Kendrick Lamar. I think he's an uber, he is a rapper in his prime, and maybe not even his prime. He
Oh,
may.
you're talking worst halftime Super Bowl performance? That's what you mean?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Because the game might be in that list too.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But I thought that what I did not why I think it's the worst because I don't know these songs. You know what
Right.
I mean? I think that the Super Bowl performance, when Prince comes out in what 2000, 10 or 9, whatever, and there's Purple Rain, a song that was number one in the 80s. Well, that's something I can get into.
Hmm.
That's a song that just goes to so many generations and brings in so many new fans. I just didn't I couldn't follow along Kendrick's performance. So I was not that happy with it.
I'm thinking of adding a category to future shows called "This is when I realized I was old" category. Because this year I would put in like not being able to name a single Kendrick Lamar song. I don't know any of his songs. I don't know who he is really. I know the name, but I couldn't name you a song. And I guess this was like a young person Super Bowl halftime show. But I mean, you said it with Prince. I mean, there was an era where the Super Bowl went classic rock. Because remember, it was Prince, it was Tom Petty, it was U2, it was Bruce Springsteen. And that was something that, a large
YouTube,
majority of
YouTube,
everybody
YouTube
knew.
was a special one because that was the post 9/11.
Yep.
You
Well,
know,
right. But you would call it like people know
but
U2
there
songs.
was definitely a classic element to it.
Yeah. Classic rock was a big programming thing for many Super Bowls. And I mean, just everybody would know those songs, young and old. And this year, I think we just got young. But I wrote down my prediction. Again, I didn't want to text you because I thought it would jinx it. But I'm totally expecting this to be one of the lowest rated Super Bowls in the last 10 years. I looked up last year's viewership, which was really high, but we had two teams playing each other again. We had a Super Bowl halftime show that is skewing young. Are we really going to get a lot of viewers for this Super Bowl? We'll see what it gets. What do you think? Do you think a lot of people watch this Super Bowl? Do you think a lot of non-NFL fans watch the Super Bowl?
I think a lot of people were chiefed out, if that makes sense.
Right.
And
Yeah, there's
I think
definitely Chiefs fatigue here.
and I think that's unfortunate because what we're watching was history. In the if they were able to pull, you know, 15 and what is it? 15-2 regular season, and that last game. I mean, you can count that if you won a loss, but they threw in the towel when they that week. A team that was basically 15-2 wins then two playoff games, so basically 17-2. It's historical. Going for a three-peat, that's historical.
Yeah, the fact that they made it to the Super Bowl, which they're only the second team to make it to three in a row, is that right?
Yes.
The Patriots got to three in a row, lost the one in the middle, but got to three in a row. So that's a big feat, but somehow we didn't really talk about it that much during the week. It seemed like it was a lot of Eagles talk during the week. So second half of the game, it gets away from the Chiefs. At some point, Tom Brady talks for like 2 minutes about, did you catch this? How many penalties were there on field goal attempts by the Eagles? Did you see that? I think
Yeah.
there was 3 of them. So the so the Eagles kicker, kicked 3 field goals, but he actually kicked 6 times because he would snap it, penalty, take them back, go forward, kick it again. But Tom Brady says, because one of them was a snap infraction, Tom Brady says, our field goal snapper, he was really good at that. And then, head referee Mike Pereiro, he cracked down on that on us. And I was like, man, is there ever a loaded subject than Tom Brady and the referees? And Kevin Burkhardt just let it slide. I was like, come on, let's talk Let's talk deflated footballs. They suspended you for 4 games. You still won the Super Bowl that year. Come on, let's talk about that. So finally, something interesting. And Kevin Burkhardt just let him off the hook. Tom Brady opened the door. Kevin Burkhardt said, like, I'm going to let you have a pass on this one. Could have been something there, Omar. I don't know if you caught that. Philly officially seals the game when they threw that bomb to make it 34-0. We did get one fun Chiefs TD drive. That was good at the end of the third quarter. And in this, I didn't know. Did you know you can't attempt an onside kick until the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You did. We got. Are you with me? We have to change the onside rules next year.
Well, what's the point? I mean, the whole point of it's that one Super Bowl that the Saints really threw the Colts off and started the second half kickoff with an onside kick, which really swayed the game back to New Orleans. Well, I just what's the point of them announcing in the beginning, hey, we're gonna get out and onside kick this thing?
So you're with me. We got to change the onside rules next year.
Yes.
Number 1, you have to declare an onside kick this year. Number 2, you can't do it to the fourth quarter. What the hell are we doing here, NFL? I'm almost gonna be a guy who says, like, can we put an asterisk by this season because of these dumb rules? This is weird. So that was strange. They can't attempt an onside kick. And at some point, they do say the Eagles never even blitzed in this game. And somehow they're sacking Mahomes with just 4 rushers all game long. It's unbelievable. I've never seen a Mahomes like this. Everything was bad on the Chiefs side. There was a couple times where they actually stopped Saquon Barkley. That was it. It was a rough way to go out for Steve Spagnuolo, who we've praised as the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs all year long. And this was just bad to put up, what did they win? 40, to put up 40 points on your D. That was brutal. It was a brutal game. So just talking big picture now on Eagles Chiefs. What do you think the Eagles take away from this game? What was their biggest attributes in becoming the Eagles champions that they are this year?
They strung together. They got back to the fundamentals of football. It was running the football, a dominant offensive line, giving your quarterback plenty of time, and then a defensive line that just wouldn't stop, So I think definitely it was just a very complete performance.
Were you surprised at the Jalen Hurts we got today?
I wasn't. He's a good player. He's a good player.
Yeah. We really buried him after a few weeks of poor play this year. And somehow he brought out the skills for the last 2 games. Championship.
He wins Super Bowl MVP, and this is his second Super Bowl appearance. This is also the same quarterback that was famously benched in a national championship game by Nick Saban in favor of Tua Tagovailoa because he was wholly ineffective that first half against was it Clemson?
It was Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
And it's just God, that's quite a story.
It was always the knock on him coming out of college and into the pros up until maybe even up until this game, is that he just wasn't processing NFL defenses quick enough, or he would miss throws in big spots, or he would take bad sacks. Somehow, some way, he flipped that mindset in the NFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl because he was flawless today. And even the week before, a couple weeks before against Washington, he was flawless that game as well. That bomb he threw to make it 34-0 was just such a perfect pass. And it was such a perfect play call when they thought like, oh, they're going to run the ball. They're going to run some clock. And he sat back there like a 10-year vet and just dropped it in there. I was surprised by the performance. Part of it was, they got up early, but they made the plays they needed to play in the air. Goddard had a big one in the first half where just over the middle of the field, open. Even the offensive pass interference play early even though, he had a hand on the face. And I was like, perfect pass, gave his receiver a chance. And then some huge runs from Hurts where like he starts running and you're like, oh, he's going to get 12 yards. Easy. No one even is around him till he's over the first down line by 5 yards. I guess I didn't see this coming. If you were to say who's going to have the better game, just quarterbacks, how many people would have picked Jalen Hurts over Mahomes?
Yeah, just crazy.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, maybe the Eagles will still win, but it won't be because of Jalen Hurts. It really was on the offensive side today. There was nothing they didn't do wrong. It was, I mean, if I just strip down the Chiefs persona, the mystique, the dynasty, I mean, this Eagles team was awesome in this playoff run, and especially in this Super Bowl. And now we can start to talk. Can the Eagles go back next year? They got great tools. They got coaches. Sirianni, 4 years as the head coach. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's made the playoffs every single year. It's time for some Sirianni talk as well. What do you think about him?
He's a very brash, he's taken a lot of heat in the media. He's a very brash guy.
A lot of heat. Mm-hmm.
He's not afraid to speak his mind. But he's, again, young coach. He's already been to the Super Bowl twice, and he's a Super Bowl champion now. So regardless of what you can say about him, he's a champion, and you can't take that away from him.
He put the pieces together perfectly, and also he's had multiple offensive coordinators in his 4 years. So, I hate the middle of the week pregame sit-down interviews, and yet I still watch them every single week. Erin Andrews sits down with Nick Sirianni, and she goes, "You talked about this team really being a family. What did you mean by that?" I'm like, well, what did you? I think you know what he means by that, Erin Andrews. What kind of questions are these? This is an insane question. And of course, it's like, we got each other's backs. That's up there in my Hall of Fame questions of, you talked about your team being a family. What does that mean?
Right.
Just stupid questions. I still beg the question, like, do we need these interviews? Like, if we took out Erin Andrews, will we really lose anything from the broadcast other than she looks great? If you took out Tony Romo, you'd be like, whoa, we need somebody to get in there. We took out Erin Andrews. We're like, we didn't lose anything here. She just looks great on the field. So that was kind of fun. What was your pre-Super Bowl viewing like? When did you start the coverage?
About 15-20 minutes before the game.
Oh, so you weren't let me see what's going on with all these other pregame shows. You just kind of jumped right into it.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for elaborating.
Right.
Fox did a thing where they had an AI Jimmy Johnson going through his career. And he's like, I started out at Middle Tennessee State and then I became a coach and I met Jerry Jones and blah, blah, blah. And I won the Super Bowl and I came back to the Dolphins and I really thank my family. And it's this great little biography of Jimmy Johnson. And then they cut to him and Jimmy Johnson is full on crying at the desk. And he's like, "Thanks guys. You're my family. I can never do it without you." Jimmy Johnson's crying and we're 3 hours from the game. Gordon Ramsay was cooking up some food, throwing it to the people in the audience. I found a few good things there. It was pretty good. Good pregame stuff from Fox. I'll give it to you. I also was ready to start Mardi Gras right there. They're doing the pregame right there on Bourbon Street. I was like, can we just start Mardi Gras right now? What's stopping us? Just start throwing the beads. Who cares? So, Eagles are our champions. The Chiefs get to the 3 straight. They're finally exposed. So weird that we knew it was going to happen, and it happens in the Super Bowl itself. So, any final thoughts on the game, or do you want to do the awards? The season finale awards.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Most memorable moment of the game. Of course, I'll open this up to the whole season almost, you could say, but, sticking with this game. Most memorable moment, which in a blowout game is harder than you would think. But what was your most memorable moment of the game?
What was that? Sorry, I got a kid doing
Omar,
homework here.
all right, try and pay attention, Omar. It's our last show. Can we make it through one last
Let's
show
do it.
without you texting? All right, what's your most memorable moment of the game?
It was just that strike, that strike from Hurts to Devontae Smith. I know the game was already well in hand,
Yeah.
but that was the moment that you said, "Wow, this was a blowout."
Also, pretty crazy, like in a blowout, that we could still be surprised at that moment. That we are
Right.
like, oh, let's see, run the guy. Whoa, drop back, bomb, touchdown. Yeah, that was good. You know what I went with? I went with the final Gatorade dump on Sirianni because
Oh, didn't I tell you? I sent you a text message. Lime green
you got
Gatorade.
it. You got it. It was actually Tom Brady's best call of the game was the guys picking up the Gatorade and then pausing for a second. And then maybe the cleanest dump of Gatorade I've ever seen on a coach. Because usually, like, they dump it and they kind of splash him a little bit. But this one, they got full on, got him on the neck, got him in the back. Perfect. Perfect dumping of Gatorade on him. And also, it meant like, this game's over. We are the champions.
Right.
Next award, the cringeworthy award for the week. All right, I got a weird one because you could say the entire Chiefs offense if you really wanted to. You could say all the sad looks. You know what I went with? At some point, I think in every single Super Bowl I have ever watched, the broadcast puts up this graphic of what the cost of things were at Super Bowl one and what
Oh,
the cost of things are currently. I think we figured out that things cost more now than they did 60 years ago. I don't think we need that graphic anymore. Like, look at the cost of a ticket for Super Bowl one was $12, and now it's $15,000. The cost of a commercial was $1,000, and now it's $8 million. Like, we got it. Things cost more. Put anything up there from 1965, it costs more. That was my cringeworthy award for the week, is comparing costs from something in 1966. What was your cringeworthy award?
my cringe. I'm just gonna go back to the halftime show, Pat. Let me tell you why I
Mm,
cringed during the halftime show. As again, as talented as I think Kendrick Lamar is, and again, I think a rapper right now at the top of his game. It just kind of seems like we're all thrust into this freaking like two rapper fight. And why do the American people need to be caught up in the middle of this diss? You know what I mean?
hmm
So I just
Yeah.
didn't appreciate it that much. And I just think just the fact that I hope this is Jay-Z's last year. This topic is probably for another show. I don't think Jay-Z will be affiliated with the NFL next year because of certain criminal
hmm
trials that are coming up for certain individuals, where his name
hmm
I think is going to be out there. So I just didn't like the halftime performance.
And didn't like no surprise performers come up?
Yeah, none, none,
Jeez. How crazy would it be if Diddy was the surprise performer?
right?
Jesus, that would be the craziest thing ever. That would be the only thing that would have saved this Super Bowl. It's like, Diddy, he's here, and like federal agents are like on the side of the stage ready to jump him as soon as he gets off the stage, and maybe he escapes with like a through a helicopter so they can't get him, and maybe Tom Cruise is flying the helicopter. Oh, that would have been great. I would have went with that. Diddy should have been the surprise performer. It's the only thing that was saved this halftime show. I'm with you. I'm with you so much that I didn't even watch the halftime show. I drove home,
Hmm.
skipped it. Should have went to Peter Piper. Next award, memeable moment this week. I got an easy one, and it's already become a meme. I already saw like two of them. Is when the game is getting out of hand. I think Mahomes is on his second interception. They cut to him on the sidelines, and he's doing like the fat, sad lip. Did you see that? Where he's pushing his lower lip out. That's already become a meme. I think that's pretty easy. The Mahomes sad face, fat lip.
Yeah, that's a good meme.
Yeah. What do you got? Memeable moment for the
Memeable
game or
moment.
week.
Uh, Memeable moment. I'm just gonna say the way that Nick Sirianni looked like a boss, walking out with Big Don. Like his Eagles
Mm,
bodyguard.
that was good.
I just think it was such a boss move And
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that. When Big Dom is walking you out there and you're a camera person in the way, you better be out of his way because he is going to
Right.
take somebody down.
Yeah, try and get the footage, but back up. Get it backing up, that footage. That's good. Yeah, we should get some Big Dom memes this week. I'd appreciate that. Like maybe a Dom deep dive. Like what gold chains are those that he's wearing?
You just look at Big Dom and you think that you see him at night getting in his luxury hotel room, and he's got to take off like rings and necklaces and
right.
bracelets. He's got to check in with his probation officer. And all
Yeah,
this
maybe an
stuff.
earring. I get the feeling that's a man who wears cologne too. So
Yes, he's wearing
he's got
cologne.
an array of colognes on the nightstand.
Right.
Definitely. Big Dom. It's gonna be a great summer for Big Dom, don't you think?
Great summer for Big Dom.
Great summer.
He's gonna
Yeah.
be partying a lot.
Before I go to the next award, can I tell you this? This is a slight confession slash declaration by me. I think I like the off season better than the season this year. I am so jacked on all the moves the Raiders are making now with Pete Carroll and who's he going to get for his offensive crew and who does he want to get at quarterback. I watched the entire Pete Carroll introduction press conference and he's there making jokes and I'm like, I love the offseason. I'm like, can we get Sam Darnold? Is Cooper Kupp really on the trade block? Is
Right.
Myles Garrett requested a trade? Let's get all these guys. I can't wait for the offseason to start. This is going to be so great.
That's the NFL for you. And then why am I drawing a blank on the offensive coordinator for the Eagles name?
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore.
He's
Now
going to have a great summer too.
he's getting a new job apparently tomorrow. So,
He's taking over New Orleans. Is that right?
yeah.
Big get for them because this was in New Orleans. He's already got a taste for Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
Big one. Off season. Where are you on your off season motivation for your Niners? Because did I see right? Who was on the trading block?
They put Deebo Samuel today.
Debo. Yeah. Interesting. They might be gutting that team this year.
Have fun in Jacksonville, Deebo. That's all I gotta say.
What? So you're okay with him going or you want him out?
Don't let the door hit you on your way out.
Oh wow, you're not a Debo guy. Anti-Debo.
A lot of talk, not a lot of performance this year.
Wow, very harsh on the Niners. Wow, so you're in good off-season form too, it seems.
Right.
Next award, Best Innovation Award. I told you I watched like 5 hours of pregame programming, and I watched this really good one on the evolution of broadcasting NFL games, all the way from taking things from NFL films, the evolution of the Skycam. Do you know how old do you think the Skycam is? When do you think? When do you think they first? When do you think they first tried out the Skycam? Well, I know
When you
because
say the Skycam, we're talking about the one that's on the wires.
the one on the cables. Yeah,
Can I guess?
yeah. Take a guess.
2007.
The very first attempt at the Skycam was in 1986.
Really?
Well, the guy who invented the Steadicam that you see like in movies where the camera's on the little suspension, he comes up with the concept of the Skycam, and he goes into the NBC office and he's like, hey, this is my Skycam. And it took forever for any of these companies to convince a stadium to let them do it. And when they finally did, they would only let them mount it super duper high. So it was way too high. And they did one for the Orange Bowl a long time ago in 86. And like, okay, that was cool. Maybe we'll do it for a preseason game. Maybe. And they do it for a preseason game in the NFL like a couple years later. And the guy operating it accidentally hits the goalpost and breaks it. So that scrapped it for like 15 years. And then the XFL did it. It was good. And it finally came back. The Skycam, this crazy innovation. So I'm watching this program and I'm like, oh yeah, the Skycam, that's cool. Then I forgot, oh, we got cameras in the pylon. Oh, the pylon cam, that's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Steadicam. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, wait, the end zone cam. So for my best innovation, I'm just giving it to the camera in general. The camera in general is the most awesome way to view a game. We have every angle. You know when people say like, oh, we should put a chip in the football and we can know everything. In a game that is governed by like yardage markers and how far did he get, this really can't be that far off. We could probably figure this stuff out. We put lines for first downs and stuff. They were saying how long it took for programmers and computer technicians to figure out how to superimpose that line with it being underneath the players. Because, the players can step on it, and yet it's superimposed on the field. So we're probably not that far off from getting precise yardage in the NFL. It's just a matter of technology.
It is. I agree with that.
So I went with the camera as my best innovation.
I want to go with a good innovation, but it would not win an award today. Follow me on this one.
Okay.
Typically, and it's been in history, in recent history, the networks broadcasting the Super Bowl use the Super Bowl to debut their new score bug. The scores, the teams on the that's playing constantly.
Oh, like the graphic.
The graphic.
Yeah.
That may be the ugliest score bug I have ever seen. The new Fox score bug.
Yeah. Everybody in my room watching the game commented on it. They're like, "Oh, that looks different." They changed it. Yeah. You noticed it too.
It just seemed like, what is this? Like, is this a stamp? Did somebody put a sticky note on my TV
Yeah.
screen?
It was really subtle. Like just the team names, the number, no background, and just bottom center.
Just the colors of. I didn't like it. I would like to see a logo of the team. Now, if you're not going to do the logo, remember, I like the score bug being in the top left corner in the old. I want you to think of the late 90s Fox when the score bug was in the top corner. Left.
Okay.
Corner. I like that.
Yeah, bottom center is in the way. It's like your eyes are drawn to it in a distracting way. And it was like just maybe like 2 font points too big as well. Yeah, everybody I watched the game with did comment on it. It was that obvious that something was different on the screen. So your innovation was almost a non-innovation award.
My innovation, I love the innovation. So that's my award. It's such a nice, sometimes it can be so nice, so clean, gives you all the information, the time, 1st and 10, the number of timeouts, who's got the ball.
Right. Yeah.
But I just thought this is like, okay, now you're trying to get a little too cute here.
Right. That's always the line is like, are you doing technology just for the sake of technology?
Right. Like then at this point, did we really need to change it?
Right. Do we really need to see that stat type of thing? Also, like maybe like in the future, we should like rate every broadcast score bug. Like who has the best one? Who has packed the information in there best? Is it NBC? Is it Fox? Is it CBS? Is it Monday Night Football? We definitely need a scoring system. See who's got the best one. All right, some good innovations there. Remember there was one a few years ago. I think it might have got your innovation award. Whatever year it was where the broadcast introduced the players as like cartoons and they were all muscly. And it said like, like Tyreek Hill, 1,000 yards receiving. I think that was one that everybody I watched it was like, hey, look at those graphics. Look at those figures. That's interesting. That's cool. Some liked it, some didn't. All right, next award. The soundtrack award for the day, for the game. I got another award / non-award for this one because this is kind of weird. You could choose the Rocky song. I definitely wasn't choosing anything from Kendrick Lamar. But my soundtrack award, coming into the 4th quarter or coming out of a timeout or something, the broadcast, Fox plays Hall & Oates, You Make My Dreams Come True.
Yeah, I did like that.
It did not match the game. It didn't match the vibe. I was like, this is a song that nobody under 35 has ever heard of unless they watch Adam Sandler movies. It just seemed out of place. And I like Hall & Oates, but that is not their best song. It seemed out of place. So you're getting the award / non-award, soundtrack award.
My soundtrack award's going to be Lauren Daigle singing "America the Beautiful." It was, and with one, she looked fantastic, but two, it had the New Orleans jazz flavor with the trombone player. I think there was a French horn out there and a guitar. I just thought that the New Orleans flavor, was super genuine to the game.
That's the other thing I like is I like when the songs, the singers, like the pageantry of it takes on the flair of the city
And
that
that
it is.
should be, and then which is why I think maybe Lil Wayne should have done this. If you wanted a rap star, Lil Wayne's from New Orleans, you know.
Oh, that would have, yeah, at least that would have been better. Yeah, there was the year, remember it was in LA and it was a whole Hollywood thing. And then there was a year it was in Detroit and it like had a Detroit thing. Yeah, I like when the host city puts its stamp on it. That was really good. Where are you on America the Beautiful and the national anthem being sung? Do you think it's too many songs, just
No,
right,
I think it's
or
part of the I think it's part of the pageantry of the Super Bowl.
keep the America the Beautiful
Yeah,
in there?
let's keep it. I don't, and one of these days we're probably gonna be playing a Super Bowl in Canada or somewhere else, and you have to do another national anthem too.
Yeah, true. Next award, the Hot Take Award. This is our last hot take of the year. All right, this one, I'm proud of this one for my hot take. Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills won the MVP. He is sitting at home watching the Super Bowl and he's saying, "We lost to these guys?
Hmm.
We could have won this Super Bowl. We could have played better than this against the Eagles." So my hot take is Josh Allen is watching this game and he's like, Go get me in the gym. I'm working out right now. I am not losing to these guys next year. I'm calling up my receivers like, dude, let's throw routes tomorrow. We cannot lose to these guys next year. We could be champions this year. We lost to these guys. I think this game was frustrating for Josh Allen watching at home. That's my hot take.
My hot take. I mean, I got several.
Oh,
You know,
several hot takes.
now is Kansas City, are they going to fall into that Super Bowl loss hangover that other teams have had in the past? You
Yeah.
know, where they don't even make the playoffs. Now, the last time they lost the Super Bowl was it to the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. They still made the playoffs the next year. I think Joe Burrow knocked them out the next year, but it was in the playoffs.
Right. They're right. Yeah, they made him lost to Joe Burrow. That was the Rams Bengals one.
Right. But do I think they're gonna? I think they got to make some moves. But my hot take is they will not be in the playoffs next year.
Oh, geez, will not be in the playoffs. Jeez, I gotta save this hot take.
But let me ask me again when we do our first show next year.
Oh, jeez.
When you know if they make some big signings, how they do in the draft. Well, let's see how that goes. You know.
Yeah, so I heard someone say, because there was a lot of Chiefs Patriots comparison talk this last couple weeks. The Chiefs really have had good drafts the last couple years. They picked up Karloftis, who was great on defense for him this year. The Patriots never had good drafts over all their dynasties. They always kind of pick people up from other teams who had one more year left in them. Corey Dillon, they would pick him up, LeGarrette Blunt. They never had a good draft. And yet the Chiefs have had good drafts despite having to pick last all these years. So this offseason, God, it's almost going to feel like a total failure because number one, they didn't win the Super Bowl in the way they lost it. Interesting offseason for the Chiefs. And how will they have this? How will their season be next year? Because you're right. Teams that lose the Super Bowl always slump the year following. Next award, the Sunday double feature. Did some thinking on this one. I left this game with a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I almost feel like, gosh, all right, the season's over, and is there any other way to end the season? I don't feel great about the way this game ended, the way it had, and yet I'm still proud that the Eagles were the best team this playoffs. So I went with something very theatrical, very satisfying, just an achievement of technology, story, intrigue. And I went with the original Jurassic Park.
Wow, interesting. You mentioned Jurassic Park.
Just give me Spielberg, give me dinosaurs, give me Jeff Goldblum, eat some guys, chop them in half. And, because the new Jurassic Park trailer came out this week. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to give this franchise another chance.
My favorite scene in that one was that investor that was there when he went to hide in the bathroom and that little Porta John, and the T-Rex just came and ate him up. That was my favorite part. It's funny you mentioned Jurassic Park because as far as my double feature, it's not going to be a movie. And let me explain.
Hmm.
I have recently, Patrick, it just seems like every time I turn on that TV, I spend more time trying to figure out what I want to watch than actually watching something. Um,
Oh, I'm the same way.
and I
Tubi.
tried Gladiator 2 last night, and I
Oh,
couldn't watch it. I thought it was I shouldn't even compared it to the first Gladiator. I don't know how you felt on that movie.
I saw
But
Gladiator too. I liked it.
I've been doing audiobooks lately. And so on your note, my son got into he asked me to order him a book, and I got him the audio the original Jurassic Park. And obviously he's telling me how different it is from the movie, and he
Oh
likes it.
my God.
But I am currently reading, Patrick. While you're watching your movie, I am going to be listening, not reading. I'm going to be listening
Hmm.
to Boys Will Be Boys. This is by Jeff Pearlman, the story of the 1990s Dallas Cowboys. And it
Hmm.
is a phenomenal book. There were so many stories I heard that team had a bunch of characters. I had no idea they were that out of control.
Oh, I know this book. Yeah, yeah. Or the one where Michael Irvin holds a pair of scissors to someone's throat.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
And
okay, you
then
have
they
to tell
had,
me what
there
you
was a
think of that.
chapter. There was a chapter just called The White House.
Oh,
And so
right.
and it was a
Hmm.
very disturbing chapter. They even talked about the two ladies that were supposed to be cleaning up the White House. Uh,
Oh.
that would go twice, and the things they would find is just awful.
Oh my God. Yeah. Maybe that's the offseason that we're going to hear from the Chiefs this year. Because remember, the Cowboys were winning all these Super Bowls, but then there became this real uprising of anti Cowboy belief. We're like, oh, they're all crazy. They're getting in trouble. They're getting arrested. Like it was all like Cowboys drama. Maybe that's the offseason we're going to have from the Chiefs. We're going to hear all these crazy Kelsey stories. You know what also like made me think, I'm glad the Chiefs finally got one in the ass. Remember last year when Kelsey bum rushed his own coach, Andy Reid, in the
Yeah.
first half? That never stuck well with me. I didn't like that. And the fact that they won, it was all good. You can all laugh it off. But I thought that was a really poor moment. And I'm glad it came around 12 months later that you didn't get your shit together. I'm not blaming it on that, but, I just didn't like that moment from last year's Chiefs. So maybe we're going to have a little boys will be boys offseason for the Chiefs, just an out of control offseason. It's possible. It's very, very interesting. Audiobooks for Omar. You know what my favorite line from Jurassic Park is when Laura Dern is looking for some evidence in the dinosaur's poop.
Oh, you've loved this since we were kids. I remember you I think we saw together, and you laughed your ass off when you said when Jeff. Let me just see if I get it right. When Jeff Goldblum comes out and says, "Now that's one big pile of shit."
That was a line that like the theater really started laughing. It's like that is one big pile of shit. Just so on the nose. Everybody had it in their head and he just verbalized it. One big pile of shit. Maybe that was the Chiefs offense this Super Bowl. That's one big pile of shit. Yes. All right, on to the Montage Award. Here's another one. Did some thinking on. You know what I wish the NFL had? You know how at the end of every NCAA championship, they play one shining moment
Yeah,
and they do kind of
with the montage of
with the
all
montage, the song. I wish the NFL had a one shining moment song, don't
like for
you?
the whole season though. Like
For the
give
whole
all the
season.
teams. Like you
Yeah,
can end it with the champions, of course, but end
totally.
like, from the draft, from camp, from the
You
you
could
know,
do it.
you
We need,
can.
I wish we had a one shining moment song
That'd be
for
so
the,
great because you got these rookies maybe running their asses off at the combine,
mm-hmm.
hugging Goodell, press conferences with free agents being introduced, footage from mandatory
Yep.
workouts and preseason
Yep.
games, and
Shots of that Cleveland Pittsburgh snow game.
guys crying that as they're being carted off the field with a serious knee injury, as
Mm-hmm.
sad as it is, but it's so part of the game. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I wish we had a one shiny moment. That's the only reason I really watch the NCAA championship game every year. It's like, I got to watch one shiny moment. And then it leads me to like searching, 6 other ones on YouTube. It's just such a great song. They redo it every year, so some sound different, but it is the song. So my montage award is I wish we had a montage to
Yeah,
our own one shiny moment. All right, montage award for you this week. This was one of our maybes, so we didn't always have these.
I want to go with yours. If I could just think of one montage, it was just all the field goal kicking that
Oh
was
yeah,
done for one kicker in one game.
that's pretty good. All right, the announcers award. You took it right out of my mouth. Brady's watch. just just the decision to wear that watch, the decision to purchase that watch, the decision to wear it on your mic, everything about the Brady watch gets the announcer award for me.
I want to say the announcer was Tom Brady just getting giddy like a girl asked out to the homecoming dance by the most popular guy in school, how giddy he was, basically reporting Patrick Mahomes will not be winning a third in a row, something I never did.
I wonder what role or what capacity he's going to be in next year. I wonder if he's going to call games, and if he is, if he's going to be different, or they're going to use him differently, because he was kind of up and down all year. And now that if the novelty's worn off, like, are we still impressed by listening to Tom Brady's voice for another year? I don't know. I'll be interested to see what his role will be at Fox. I'm glad he was, according to Raiders Twitter, instrumental in getting Pete Carroll to the Raiders.
Right.
So I like that. Onward to the location award for the week, for the final week of the year. You know what I went with? Super Bowl is a blowout. It's pretty much over midway through the third quarter. The best place to be in this Super Bowl was on the sideline of the winning team. Like, it essentially becomes a party from the fourth quarter on, and the game's still going. So you're like just in this midst of congratulating everybody. Scrubs and Kenny Pickens is getting snaps. Everybody's hitting each other on the back. Is there a better place to be on the winning sideline during a Super Bowl blowout? That's my location. Planning the Gatorade splash all the way.
That's a great place.
Yeah. What do you got? What's your location award? And better not say Peter Piper Pizza.
My location award is just the excitement you get when you see the teams meeting on the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
With the cameras, it's the Super Bowl. They're on the logo. I think to me that's just the best location to be. And both teams at that point, they're looking at each other and they both have a chance at that point. That's special.
I thought the broadcast messed up a little bit during this one, and I don't know if they do this every year or not, but I would have liked if we went coin flip, choose the side, or national anthem, Jets over the top, coin flip, kickoff. There was a commercial after the coin flip, like a long commercial, couple minutes, and then it was kickoff. Like, I thought they killed momentum by breaking there. I would have liked national anthem, coin toss right into the game. Just ride that wave, ride that crescendo to it. But that's a great moment when they're flipping that coin. It's like, finally, here we go, football. Next award, best quote. I told you I wasn't crazy about the broadcast today, but there were a couple good quotes. Here's one from Tom Brady. The camera, at some point when the game is totally out of hand, I think the camera should just try and go find celebrities in the crowd. And then they show Kevin Hart, and Tom Brady goes, "Kevin Hart's here? How does a camera even find Kevin Hart?" Just a nice little slight to Kevin Hart from the rose from Tom Brady. Or from his counterpart, Kevin Burkhardt, they do a shot of Rupert Murdoch in the luxury box, and Kevin Burkhardt goes, "Rupert Murdoch is here. We're all here because of him." I was like, oh, what a quote. What a quote, Kevin Burkhardt. Yes, we are all here because of Rupert Murdoch, the media mogul. Good quote, and very telling too. I'm gonna call it a tie, call it a draw between those two guys.
I did appreciate the quotes that when the Fox crew talked about Mekhi Becton, just when he was crying, and just like when they were talking about how his career wasn't going anywhere with the Jets, and I think that's what the Super Bowl is all about. You know, when you find the right culture, the right team, and I'm just glad that they pointed that out. And Becton, who was a monster on that Philadelphia offensive line, that was to me very special.
Nice. Good quote. Good. That's like quote slash um, little bit of a send off.
Yes.
All right, let's go to next award. A couple more here. Best play call slash coaches award. I went with a little bit of a split winner here. How about the Eagles D for not even needing to blitz all
I was
game
going to say
long?
mine's going to be Vic Fangio, bottom line, but you go on ahead.
Eagles D didn't even have to blitz. And how about the Eagles offense just going for the dagger, going 34 to zip?
That was that 46-yard touchdown strike to Devontae Smith just at the end. It was just like you guys are.
Yeah. Yeah, split the trophy. You get the Eagles D not blitzing, got to Mahomes all game long, and just the dagger.
Yeah, Vic
34 to zip.
Fangio definitely cemented himself as one of the better defensive coordinators in history.
Is that your award? You going to give it to Vic
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to
Fangio? You got
Fangio.
another?
I'm gonna give it to. I'm not putting him in the category of Buddy Ryan. But he's definitely to me a top possibly a top five defensive coordinator.
Do they carry coaches off the field anymore? It feels like I haven't seen that in like 30 years.
Well, it's only been done with I think Buddy Ryan.
That was it?
Mm-hmm.
Buddy Ryan, and like, did they do it with Buddy Ryan and Mike Ditka? Is that the one
Yeah,
you're
both got
talking, or
carried.
was there
Both
another
got
one?
carried. The offense
Okay, that's
carried Ditka and the defense carried Ryan.
and Bill Parcells got carried off, right? In the
Yeah, he got carried,
91.
but he was the only one that got carried off.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I
He
don't
was
think
good.
anybody. I can't think of anybody else that's ever been carried off. Maybe like a Don Shula during the regular season for winning the most games or something, but I can't think of a Super Bowl one. They should bring that back. Bring back the carrying off the coach thing. Last
Parcells
award.
was carried off in both his Super Bowl wins.
Parcells was?
Mm-hmm.
What was the Giants Bills one? Oh yeah, and then the Denver one.
Giants Broncos.
Look at Parcells. He insists that he's carried off the field.
Do you think that maybe he set it up and said, "You motherfuckers better carry me off the field"?
I think the Giants one, he told the defense, like, give me one last ride, boys. Like, he told them to pick them up. I think I'm remembering that America's game quote right.
You know, but I'm looking at pictures. I Google
his
pictures
thing.
here. Look, I'm seeing Mike Holmgren carried off the field by the Packers the year that they beat the Patriots.
Oh, okay. So it has happened.
John Madden carried off. Tom Landry, the Super Bowl against the Broncos. I think that was also in New Orleans.
Okay. But most recent, is that Holmgren?
Shula, I'm seeing here.
Shula would have been for the winning the most
the undefeated,
games, right?
undefeated year.
Oh, okay, but that's the 70s. Like, when's the last time it happened? It's a long time ago.
I got Tom Flores being carried off back in the 80s, it looks like.
All right, we're up to 82.
No, it looks like Bill Walsh, but it looks like it may be Parcells in the 90s.
But you said Holmgren got carried off, right?
Oh yeah, I guess Holmgren
That would have been
be,
96-ish.
The suit, yeah. It looks like it's Holmgren.
And maybe that was the last one since. So I think we should bring that back.
Hold on. I think I'm seeing here a Tony Dungy.
Oh, well, that's a very slight man. That's an easy carry off.
Very easy carry.
I think just put him on one player's shoulders like a chick at a concert. Should have done it that way. Bring it back. I like the coach being carried off. All right, last award for the season. And it's the most important award. Who won the week? I got 3 nominees. Nominee number 1, Bill Belichick's girlfriend. Did you happen to get a look at Bill Belichick's girlfriend during the NFL Player Awards?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Bill Belichick just smiling ear to ear, too.
And he was wearing his 8 Super Bowl rings. So
wearing the rings.
Oh, yeah. Look, I mean, these photos of Jordan.
He's got a hot piece on his arm. Just like, hey, boys.
Look at these photos of Jordan Hudson. Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say, I still don't know her name, but I know she's Bill Belichick's girlfriend. She was looking like an 11 on these red carpets, so I think she might be a nominee for Who Won the Week. I also went with Tubi. Tubi showed the Super Bowl on their app. I tried to view it on Tubi and the app crashed, so I don't know if it I don't know if it actually worked or not, but Tubi, I heard the name Tubi mentioned more times than I can imagine this week alone. So where did Tubi come from? Where did Tubi get the money to get the NFL on their channel?
Because every 5 minutes they're doing another ad,
It's a lot of ads on Tubi.
Which is why I don't watch Tubi.
That's exactly why I do watch Tubi. They don't show a single movie more recent than 2001, and they're free. So I think Tubi might be a nominee. And then last nominee, I just went with Nick Sirianni. 4 years, 2 Super Bowls, playoffs every single year, and he's the champion. Those are my 3 nominees. I'm going to have to give it to Nick Sirianni, but those other 2 are going to have to split the silver medal because those are both great. Great efforts by Tubi and Bill Belichick's girlfriend. But I'll give it to Sirianni. He's a champion. Who do you got for who won the week?
Saquon Barkley.
Really?
Saquon Barkley.
You have him winning the week. Not a big game today, but I mean, they really didn't need to lean on him.
From what was going on this offseason, when Joe Shane, the GM of the Giants, looks at you and says, "We're gonna go with Daniel Jones," you're like, okay, let me get my things, and then he finds himself winning a Super Bowl. So he won the week.
Well, didn't they get rid of him, or did he request to leave? I thought they got rid of him.
They got rid of him. That's what I'm saying. They got rid of him. They said, we're going to go with Daniel Jones, essentially.
Right. But he didn't say I'm leaving because of that.
No. But like,
okay, that's what you're insinuating, though. But they got rid of him.
They got rid of him. No, they got rid of Saquon. What I'm saying is they basically looked at him and said, we are going to go with Daniel Jones as our guy moving forward. We're going to pay him his money. And look how that ended up. Daniel Jones, a third string or emergency quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, and and we have a Super Bowl champion in Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I don't know where Daniel Jones looked good for 1 week ever. Remember that one little stretch where he was kind of good, and then that was it. The Daniel Jones experiment has not worked. Not worked at all. So and Saquon, I mean, great. I mean, I think anybody who followed football knew Saquon. And after this year, I think even more people know him. Like, such a great story, such a great talent. We talked about him as MVP at some point. And I mean, they didn't need him today. I think it would have been different if it was a closer game. So, okay, Saquon's a good one. Really good one. Invented a brand new Madden move this year, the backwards hurdle.
Oh, unreal.
Huge. He won the week / he definitely won the season for himself. Wow. Those were the final awards for the season. When does the NFL offseason kind of begin for you? Because, now it becomes combine, draft, and then all the moves in between. So where does it all start for you? Because I think I'm ready to go right now.
I'm ready for tomorrow. I'm ready here for first take, and then let's get it started.
Wow. So yeah, the offseason is going to be really great, because the other great thing in the offseason is you think every move is gold in the offseason. You're like, oh, hey, good move. Yeah, we should pick him up. This sounds great. I'm all in on my Pete Carroll now. This is the biggest name hire they've put on as a head coach since, I guess you could say, Gruden. Second time around, Gruden. So big pickup for the Raiders and Tom Brady. And I guess they got to find a quarterback next. What's your biggest position that you want to figure out on your 49er team?
Just one, exactly how much money are we going to pay Brock Purdy? I think that's going to, unfortunately, he had his worst year on the contract year, but I don't want to throw everything on him. There were a lot of injuries, right? But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I do want to get, I want to see what their draft needs are.
Yeah. So you want to figure out Purdy first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Fair. That's good. NFL. Wow. Super Bowl 59. By the way, I've given up on Roman numerals. I don't understand them anymore. I'll be all right if we just switch the numbers at this point.
I think next year we're just going to have LX, I think.
Okay, we'll go one more year. We'll go LX. That's fine. I still won't know what it means, but I'll just know it's 60. Wow, 2024-2025 season. The Sunday Night Talk. We went through every single week. Shared our Sundays with everybody. We drank a lot. I had a couple of pops today. That was pretty good. Some for the season.
Let's do real quick, Pat. Since we always end on a prediction, is it all right? Who's winning next? Who's playing in next year's Super Bowl, and who do you got winning?
Okay.
Just throw it out there.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it out there. My instant reaction. Is Bills next year, representing the AFC, representing the NFC. Gosh, my heart wants to say Washington, but that gets me in trouble too much.
Oh, I'm with you, Pat. I'm with you. But...
So I'm going to try and hold off on Washington. And in this era of repeat Super Bowl appearances, I don't see any reason why Philadelphia can't get back. So, Bills, Philadelphia. That's my logical pick. But my heart goes with the Las Vegas Raiders versus... Versus, let me think. The Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
I told you I went with my heart.
All right.
Where is the Super Bowl next year?
Damn it, Patrick.
God forbid we do any research on this show.
It is going to be, San Francisco, Levi's Stadium.
What?
Which now takes my Niners out of the equation.
I don't know. We've seen teams have home games for Super Bowls before. Not out of the question. Or it just wouldn't be a first.
No, but it's not going to be the Niners. I'm going to
God, you're already down on your team.
I'm going to go, but I do think Detroit takes that big step.
Oh, I forgot about Detroit.
I'm going to go Detroit, and I like your Buffalo.
Wow, we both like Buffalo. For Omar Carmona, for me, Patrick Ramirez, this was the Sunday Night Talk. The Eagles are champions. We did it. Omar, good night.
Good night.
See you next year.
Congratulations, Philadelphia.